Fresh Start, weekday mornings 7 till 9. Here's what it's like.
Good morning, you're listening to Fresh Start with Flower Bradley on Fresh FM. Today I have the pleasure of talking with Matt Lawrey, author, writer, well-known Nelsonian. Today we're talking about a little book called The Little Things. It's been in the top 300 in New Zealand. It's a book that's filled with cartoons to save your sanity. Tell us all about it.
Good morning, thanks for having me. So it comes from a cartoon that I started with a guy named Peter Lowell, who's a fellow Nelsonian, and he's an illustrator. And we started this cartoon in October. It'll be 2 years since we started it, end of October. And we'd been going for about a year, and Peter said, so how about a book? And I said, yeah, I'll get onto it. And then about a week later he said, how's it going with the publishers? And I said, yeah, I'll get onto it. About a week later he said, any progress with this book idea? And I thought, oh, bloody hell, I should get on to this. So I rang Robbie Burton at Craig Potton Publishing, and we had talked to them earlier about cards. We just wanted to find out a bit about the card business. And I just said to Robbie, look, do you know anyone at Penguin or Random House? And he said, are you looking for someone to publish a book of your cartoons? And I said, yeah, but I didn't think it was really their sort of thing. And Robbie said, we might be interested in having a look at that. And about 2 hours later, I was in his office, and the rest is history.
Fantastic. Well, I've opened the book up and I've had a great look at it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favourites, which I've experienced myself, is a picture of a woman standing with her hands on her hips. They're walking down the street. The little 5-year-old, it looks like, has got his school bag on the back, and it's got him saying, Mum, I've got a poo in my shoe. And down the bottom, it's got, in large font, wishing you'd taken the car.
Wishing you'd taken the car. That happened to me. Yeah, it's not me. There's obviously a lovely-looking lady in the cartoon, woman in the cartoon. But that definitely happened to me.
What, when you were a little boy?
No, I was walking to school with our 5-year-old at the time, sunny day, heading down Amano Street, and suddenly there was this, Dad. And I did. I thought for a second, I was thinking I was doing the right thing by walking to school, but we should have probably just taken the car. But, it's all part of the fun, isn't it?
It is all part of the fun. What about another couple of cartoons? What's your favourite one?
Well, it sort of changes, and it was really cool putting the book together, because by the time we decided we were going to do a book, we'd already published probably 450 cartoons, because we're in newspapers some newspapers are in 6 days a week. So, we've got a lot of material, and it was a brilliant experience to just sit down with them and go, okay, which ones do we want in the book? We've got room for 120, and basically Peter went through and he chose all the ones he liked, and I chose all the ones I liked, and we sat down and went through them with big piles of paper. But we're really, really happy with the combination. And one of my favourites actually is this guy who's, strangely enough, looks quite a lot like Mark Accord from Nelson City Fresh Choice. He's got no hair on his head, but he's got a very dark goatee beard. And it's not actually supposed to be Mark, but looking at it, it looks like Mark. Anyway, there's a guy sitting on a couch, and he's reading to probably a 5-year-old and maybe a 2-year-old. And he's reading out loud, my hat is old, my teeth are gold, I have a bird I like to hold. And below it says, wondering what exactly Dr. Zeus was on. And that happened to me. I mean, our kids love Dr. Zeus. All children, I think, for some reason have this Dr. Zeus gene. They love Dr. Zeus, they love Lego, certain things they just love. And they love Dr. Zeus, but Dr. Zeus, if you read it out loud, is pretty bizarre.
It is very crazy. I love Dr. Zeus
kind of
as
psychedelic.
well.
So I think a lot of people can relate to that one. And another one was a woman who's quite posh, and she's kind of based on my mum in a way. And she's sitting in an armchair, and she's got her glasses sort of hanging off the end of her nose. She's looking out over the top of those glasses. She's reading the Nelson Mail, she's reading a newspaper, and she's looking slightly concerned, and she's looking into the corner of the room, and she's saying, Jeremy, please don't play with the dog's penis. And below it says, saying things you never thought you'd say. And that happened to me. But it was Miro, and I was in the kitchen doing something, and I just looked up and I saw Miro, and I was like, Miro, please don't play with the dog's penis. And I thought, well, quick, write it down. And that's really how most of these cartoons come to be. Basically, something happens, it happens to me, or happens to Tanya, my wife, or I see it happen in the supermarket to someone else, I write it down, just form it a little bit better as an idea, email it to Peter, he draws it, emails it back to me, we go to the suitor, have a cup of tea and a slice of chocolate brownie, and say yay or nay, or whether we need to sort of give it a little zhuzh or something.
Tweak it up.
Tweak it, that's a good word. Yeah, and that's how it works. Yeah, it's really fun.
It looks like a lot of fun, and I love comedy. I love fun.
Yep.
And the thing that I like about this book is you can put it on the coffee table and just pick it up and have a flick.
Yeah.
And it's got so many different things, but they all make you laugh.
Well, that seems to be the thing, and we got a great email from someone in the country named Sonia, who sent an email to our website saying, she was just ecstatic about the book. She said, her words, not mine. She said, "Your book is gold," and she said, "I love it. I bought it for my sister who's just had her first, and it's just amazing. Now I'm going to buy them for everyone I know who has children." And I think the thing about them is they're just really real and universal and human. And even if you don't have kids, chances are you're going to relate to them just as a human being.
I love it how it fits in the palm of your hand.
It's a nice size, eh?
It's a really good size. I really like the size of it. And it's a great gift.
$15.
$15. I know. I think it's not a bargain. I wouldn't say bargain. I think it's gold.
It's gold. There you go, Phil.
It's gold.
But
now,
interesting business about the size though. Like we were talking about this, like how many cartoons we're going to put in here if it's only going to be $15, and went through that whole discussion that you have. And a book needs to have a certain number of pages for it to have any sort of girth, for it to have kind of like a bit of gravitas, a bit of weight to it. And if we went sort of even, I think, 20 pages fewer, if there were 20 fewer pages in here, it wouldn't feel the way it does. But actually, it's got good
It's
hand
got
feel.
weight.
It's
it
got a
fits in
little
the
weight.
palm of your hand.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's
it's
nice
like the new Apple phones that have just come out.
You're not
You've heard about the screens on them. They're just the perfect visual size.
Are they?
Well, when you flick open the book, what I like about it is the cartoons are the right size as well.
That's right. And the funny thing is, that's a very good point, because even though the cartoon is called The Little Things, some editors have decided that's not actually meant as an instruction as to how they should be published. But some editors love to use it in a very small space, which is great. But sometimes when you get too small, you can't really appreciate Peter's artwork. And Peter he can do amazing things with a very loose line, a bit of shading, and a whole lot of experience, and that's one of the things I love about it. And this gives you a chance to really appreciate the art. And they're not also surrounded by, news stories and photos and headlines and advertising as well. You can just sort of sit with them, which is, we're very happy.
I also love the one where there's I'd say a dad walking into the office, and he goes, "Morning, Phil," saying hello to his work colleague, and it's got written down the bottom, naively thinking you've made it to work in clean clothes, as he's got vomit on his shoulder from the baby.
Oh, yeah.
And he's completely unaware of it.
Yeah, he hasn't even smelt it. Yeah, which can happen, if it's really fresh. Sometimes you don't notice it. Look.
Did this happen to you?
Oh, I think I walked around with a lot of stuff down my back for quite a long time when the boys were little. But I see it all the time. I mean, I do get quite a few cartoons from just spotting things, spotting other people and seeing how they respond. And one of the things that I think has contributed to the cartoon success, both in newspapers and now as a book, is that there are tons of cartoons out there about families. There's The Simpsons, The Flintstones, there's Calvin and Hobbes. There's lots of cartoons about children, Dennis the Menace, for example. But we can't find any cartoons anywhere that are just about the experience of parenting. We don't have characters per se. We've got mums and dads of all sorts of description. And, some people said to me when I started it, why don't you have characters? Why don't you just always have the same family? But I think it's nice because every time you go to it, you don't know who you're going to meet. And that's the thing I think about a cartoon that works. It's a part of the paper that you go to every day is just a little moment, something you want to touch almost. And when you don't know what you're going to get every time, that makes it a more interesting experience.
Yeah, and in a sense, you're not normalising it. There's all different kinds of people who live in family systems.
Yeah.
And so you've got a wide range. And
Exactly.
It's great to see.
And we've been really, really made an effort not to present these families all as, 2.5 children, mum, dad, and a golden lab. These
real.
they could be solo parents. They could be, all sorts of things that are going